Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, it just dropped a quiet bombshell. It was actually down about 3.5% today, but under the hood of this news is something very important and something that we've talked about here on this channel many times. Now, if you follow the channel, we've talked about Nvidia for a while, really since the inception of this channel back in 2019. And most recently with Nvidia, the king of AI, and talking really about not just hardware, but software. And we always talk about that TAM, that total addressable market, $300 billion total addressable market of hardware, $300 billion total addressable market for software. And one of the main differentiators right now is NVIDIA's doing AI as a service. So really the software side, recurring revenue and software platform. And when we did the top 10 AI stocks for the next 10 years in January, we talked about investing in AI platforms. So both AMD and NVIDIA were on those videos. And of course, other companies like Amazon, like Microsoft, like Google, like Snowflake, Palantir, and so on. So NVIDIA is still the top dog. But listen to this announcement from Lisa Su. This is the CEO of AMD today.
No question, the software ecosystem is so important for enabling our hardware to be deployed more broadly. I would say it's a journey, and we know it's a journey, but we've made a tremendous amount of progress over the past year with ROCm and the most important frameworks like PyTorch, TensorFlow, and Onyx. And also really expanding our collaborations with key model developers and distributors like Hugging Face and many of the other open source models out there.
Okay, so you heard that, right? She's talking about software. And today's announcement was big for that reason. Now, before I get into the software component, let's talk about the hardware upgrades they announced today.
The generative AI and large language models have changed the landscape, okay? The need for more compute is growing exponentially, whether you're talking about training or, frankly, whether you're talking about inference. At the center of this are GPUs. GPUs are enabling generative AI. So now let me turn to our Instinct GPU roadmap. We created a family of products. So in addition to the MI300A product, with our chiplet construction, we can actually replace the 3 Zen 4 CPU chiplets with 2 additional CDNA 3 chiplets to create a GPU-only version of MI300, optimized for large language models and AI. We call this MI300X. Now, for MI300X, to address the larger memory requirements of large language models, we actually added an additional 64 gigabytes of HBM3 memory. I am super excited to show you, for the very first time, MI300X. But what you see with MI300X is we truly designed this product for generative AI. It combines CDNA 3 with an industry-leading 192 gigabytes of HBM3.
But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott! What the hell is a gigawatt?
That delivers 5.2 terabytes per second of memory bandwidth, and it has 153 billion transistors across 12 5-nanometer and 6-nanometer chiplets. I love this chip, by the way. We love this chip. So look, when you look at the world, there are many things that you need. You need great compute engines, but you also need a lot of memory for everything that's going on. So when you compare MI300X to the competition, MI300X offers 2.4 times more memory and 1.6 times more memory bandwidth. And with all of that additional memory capacity, we actually have an advantage for large language models because we can run larger models directly in memory. And what that does is for the largest models, it actually reduces the number of GPUs you need, significantly speeding up the performance, especially for inference, as well as reducing total cost of ownership.
So AMD really is the strongest challenger to NVIDIA, which we've been saying all along, but this is a very positive announcement today for AMD shareholders. Right now, NVIDIA owns about 80% of the market share when you think of AI chips. And that primary differentiator that we've talked about has been the software platform. Lisa Su also said this in a quote today. We think about the data center AI accelerator market growing from something like $30 billion this year at over 50% compound annual growth rates, over $150 billion in 2027. So AMD did not announce a price for this, but the H100 goes for around $30,000 per chip. Okay, so next I want to show you a demo, and this demo was really kind of a little bit slow. It was a little bit lackluster. What I've done is I've edited the clips. I've cut these clips together so it's much faster than it happened in real time. But watch this quick demo and then her explanation of why it's so important.
Let's say, write a poem about San Francisco. Here we go, the poem's coming. You can see it's responding in real time. I'm not a great poet, I don't know about you guys. The city of dreams that always keeps you yearning for more. I would say that poem's pretty good, huh? But what I want to emphasize that's special about this demo is it's the first time a large language model of this size can be run entirely in memory on a single GPU. And what that enables is for us to deploy MI300X at scale to power next-gen LLMs with lower total cost of ownership, really making the technology much, much more accessible to the broader ecosystem. And what that also means is that not only do we believe that we have better total cost of ownership, but we've also been able to significantly reduce the amount of development time needed to deploy MI300X. Our goal with MI300X is to make it as easy to deploy as possible. And what that means is the infrastructure is also incredibly important.
This is a quote from AMD President Victor Peng. Now, while this is a journey, we've made really great progress in building a powerful software stack that works with the open ecosystem of models, libraries, frameworks, and tools. This is very important for AMD.
Which is why I'm also excited to announce the AMD Instinct platform. And what we're doing with this platform is, again, we're all about open infrastructure. So what we're putting is 8 MI300Xs in the industry standard OCP infrastructure. And for customers, what that means is they can use all of this AI compute capability and memory of MI300X in an industry standard platform that drops right into their existing infrastructure with actually very minimal changes. And with this leveraging of OCP platform specification, we're actually accelerating customers' time to market and reducing overall development costs while making it really easy to deploy MI300X into their existing AI rack and server infrastructure. Let me give you a few key takeaways. First of all, we're incredibly excited about AI. We see AI everywhere in our portfolio. With MI300X, what we offer is leadership TCO for AI workloads. We're really, really focused on making it easy for our customers and partners to deploy, so that Instinct platform really lowers the barriers for adoption. And frankly, the enterprise-ready software stack, we know that this is so important. We've made tremendous progress through our work with the frameworks and the models with our partners, and there's going to be a lot more that's going on over the next many years in this area. Now let me talk about availability. So I'm happy to say that MI300A began sampling to our lead HPC and AI customers earlier this quarter, and we're on track to begin sampling MI300X and the 8 GPU Instinct platform beginning in the third quarter. And in addition, we expect both of these products to ramp in production in the fourth quarter of this year.
They've been the strongest competitor to Nvidia when you think of AI chips, and this really solidifies that, making this AI software platform. Now, with all that said, I think Nvidia is still the top dog. I own both AMD and Nvidia long. I think both are going to do well long term. Both of these stocks have rallied very hard this year, and the reason for the sell-off today at AMD and for Nvidia being up, a lot of people thought the demonstration was a little bit lackluster, but oftentimes the market really just has to digest this, and I think maybe the market's missing the mark here a little bit with the message about this software platform. So for me, I think a lot of it is just traders taking profits. I think maybe some people thought this presentation today was lackluster, but the reality is the stock has ripped and it can't go up, every day forever. So let's look at a chart really quick. Before I do that, I need to announce this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. If you'd like to see the 10 best stocks to buy now, visit fool.com/firedupwealth. You can also join our private community, Patreon Discord, by visiting patreon.com/firedupwealth. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications. And if this video is helpful, please do me a favor, drop me a like and drop me a comment. I appreciate you. All right, so here's the chart on AMD. Anytime you see orange, that's a previous chart day. We haven't covered this for for a little while, you can see this thing ripped from $81.02. Right now it's about $125 in the post market. So it is green in the post market. In our Discord community, we were buying this stock really back here in the 50s and the 60s. It really was a $75 or less dollar cost average we had been saying for months and months. And the golden opportunity was really in the 50s, $55 or so, even 60. Of course, you could have bought it, 70, 80, 90, 100. You can see it's at the top of this Fibonacci retracement when you look at these ribbons. But if you look at the actual Fibonacci, this is their pivot points here. You've got R1, R2, R3. So the R2 is actually up here at 140. R3 is all the way up here at $160. Now, I'm not suggesting it's going to go to $160 overnight. And this is expensive. If you look at the PE ratio, it's very expensive right now. In fact, just a quick Google search here. It says 516 PE ratio. Market cap is about $200 billion. So many people can make the argument that even though Nvidia is very expensive, it might be a better buy here than AMD. And Nvidia actually closed up almost 4% today, around $410. So the PE ratio on Nvidia is about a 213. Market cap is a little over $1 trillion right now. But if the AI hype continues, if the market keeps going higher, you could see Nvidia at $500 a share, and you could probably see AMD at $150 a share. I'm not necessarily buying these prices. We bought them much lower. For me, it's a hold. I'm very bullish on both of these names long term, but they each have rallied very hard. You have to be careful chasing. Definitely it's a hold here if you already own the stock, in my opinion. And AMD could consolidate, come a little bit lower. Right now it looks like it's actually bullish in the post market. You have to be careful with this type of market. What's going to happen is it's going to keep pushing higher until it doesn't. And when the market does let some steam off, that RSI cools down, you will see some of these names pull back. Now, of course, the stock could run $15 and pull $15 and be in the same spot. It's hard to know here. This is why I like to buy lower prices back here. I like buying stocks when they're beat down, not when, after they've ripped 100% from the lows. AMD is up 95% year to date, and Nvidia is up 187% year to date. So both are very strong companies. We've been covering these for a long time. Hopefully, if you've been following Fired Up Wealth, you bought them much lower. If you own the stocks, they're probably holds, probably even at some point a trim. But each Nvidia and AMD are probably going to go higher if the market rally continues. I hope this video is helpful, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, drop me a like, drop me a comment. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.